Have you ever wondered why some people seem to rise from nothing, conquer impossible odds, and shape their lives into masterpieces? It's not luck. It's not circumstance. It's the power of belief, the kind that begins in the mind. If you can see it in your thoughts, if you can hold it in your imagination, then you have the blueprint for something real. Because what the mind can conceive, you can achieve. Everything that's ever changed the world, every invention, every revolution, every breakthrough started as a single idea in someone's mind. The dreamers, the doers, the visionaries, they all believed one unshakable truth. If I can think it, I can become it. And so can you. Everything that exists in the physical world was once a thought. That car you drive, it was first imagined. The phone in your hand, someone envisioned it before it was ever created. The home you live in, the chair you sit on, the career you pursue, all of it began in someone's mind. So why do we treat imagination as something childish? Why do we overlook the most powerful tool we've been given? Imagination is not just the playground of daydreamers. It is the laboratory of destiny. Every great empire, every world-changing invention, every bold leap of progress began not with money, not with skill, but with an idea. A single, simple idea that refused to go away. It kept burning in the mind of its creator until it had no choice but to burst into reality. That's how creation works. First in thought, then in form. What you see around you is only the end result of what someone once dared to picture. So why not you? Why not your vision? If you can imagine a better life, more freedom, more fulfillment, more purpose, then you already have the raw material to build it. Your imagination is sacred ground. It's where your future takes shape. But here's the catch. Most people don't take their imagination seriously. They allow it to be polluted with fear, self-doubt, and limitations handed down by other people. They use it to rehearse failure instead of vision. Instead of seeing themselves rising higher, they replay worst-case scenarios over and over again like a broken record. You've got to reclaim your imagination. Guard it. Feed it. Stir it. Picture the life you want with such vivid clarity that your heart beats faster just thinking about it. Picture yourself walking into that promotion, living in that dream house, traveling the world, impacting lives, building something meaningful. Picture it every single day, because the more clearly you see it in your mind, the more your subconscious begins to work to bring it into your life. Imagination isn't fantasy. It's faith in motion. It's your spirit saying, "This is what I was made for." And when you honor that vision, when you give it space to grow and take shape, it begins to guide your actions. It changes the way you show up. Suddenly, you're not just going through the motions. You're walking with purpose because you've already seen the destination. And don't let anyone talk you out of your imagination. People love to tell you what's practical, what's realistic, what's possible based on their limited thinking. But you weren't made to live by their rules. What you see in your mind is yours for a reason. It's the seed of your next level. Don't throw it away just because others can't see it. They weren't given your vision. You were. But imagination alone isn't enough. It's the beginning, yes, but not the bridge. To turn that vision into reality, you must add something even more powerful: belief. Because belief is what lifts the dream off the ground. Belief is what gives your imagination wings. When you believe in the vision you've conceived, you start to act differently. You walk with confidence. You take risks. You keep going even when it doesn't look like anything is happening. Why? Because belief is the evidence of things not yet seen. It says, I don't need to see it in my bank account yet. I know it's coming. I don't need the applause or the recognition yet. I already see the reward in my mind. A belief changes the atmosphere around you. It causes people to take notice. It creates momentum where there once was none. But more than anything else, belief changes you. It shifts your identity from someone who hopes to someone who knows. And once you know, deep down, without a shadow of a doubt, that your dream is possible, everything else begins to align. You attract the right people. You notice new opportunities. Your conversations change. Your priorities shift. Because belief creates focus. It eliminates the distractions that once pulled you off course. You no longer waste time wondering if it's going to happen. You live like it's already done. But belief must be personal. It can't be borrowed. No one else can believe for you. People can encourage you, support you, even pray for you. But if you don't believe, it won't matter. That's why it's crucial to build your belief daily. Feed it. Protect it. Speak to it. Declare it out loud, even when it feels awkward. Look in the mirror and say, I believe in the vision I've been given. I believe in the dream planted inside of me. I believe I have what it takes. Because you do. You've already got everything you need to get started. The dream you conceived in your mind. It wouldn't be there if it wasn't meant for you. The very fact that you can see it, feel it, and long for it means it's possible. Not easy, not instant, but absolutely possible. Belief doesn't mean there won't be setbacks. It doesn't mean you won't face resistance. In fact, the bigger the dream, the bigger the challenges. But belief is what keeps you grounded when the winds come. It's what lets you rise again after a failure. It says, "This isn't over. I'm not finished. My breakthrough is still on the way." There are people who will try to shake your belief. They'll question your choices, mock your ambitions, even laugh at your goals. But your belief isn't up for debate. It's not based on popular opinion. It's based on your inner conviction that this life, this moment, is filled with possibility. So stop second-guessing yourself. Stop shrinking to fit in. Stop believing in your power to rise, to grow, to create, to become. If others can do it, so can you. If it's been done, it can be done again. And if it's never been done before, maybe you're the one who's supposed to do it first. The bridge between the life you have and the life you dream of is built one belief at a time. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having the faith to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next. Belief makes you bold. It silences the inner critic and empowers your inner coach. It reminds you that failure is not final and that your past doesn't define your future. It tells you that just because you started late or feel behind doesn't mean you can't finish strong. Most people never achieve their dreams, not because they're not capable, but because they stop believing too soon. They give up when it gets hard. They retreat when they should rise. Don't let that be your story. Decide right now, I will believe until it happens. I will believe through the dry seasons. I will believe when no one else does. I will believe until belief becomes reality. This is not hype. This is the principle that built every great movement, every world-changing idea, every inspiring success story. It's the unseen power that turns thoughts into things and dreams into destiny. If your mind can conceive it, you are already halfway there. But belief will take you the rest of the way. Let it rise. Let it burn in you like fire. And watch what happens when imagination and belief come together. Watch what happens when you stop doubting and start doing. Watch how quickly your life begins to shift when you finally realize this power has been in you all along. Everything you have, everything you experience, everything you call your life. It all began with a thought. You may not realize it, but the reality you're living in right now is the result of what you've been thinking, whether consciously or unconsciously. Thoughts are not just fleeting whispers in the mind. They are forces, they are seeds, they are blueprints. What you dwell on, you invite. What you consistently think about, you begin to move toward. You don't just think randomly and remain unaffected. Every thought you entertain carves a path in your future. The moment you repeat a thought, it starts to form patterns, habits of mind, and habits of mind shape behavior. Behavior repeated becomes your life. So if you're not happy with what's showing up in your life, don't go looking out there. Look within. Trace it back to the thoughts you've been giving power to. Negative thinking isn't just harmless worry. It's the architect of limitation. When you constantly expect failure, you train your mind to see obstacles instead of opportunities. When you think lack, you develop eyes for shortage. When you dwell on fear, you subconsciously retreat from the very breakthroughs you're meant to have. But here's the good news. You can change your thinking. You can shift the atmosphere inside your mind. And when you do, your external reality has no choice but to follow. That's how powerful you are. Your thoughts carry a creative force. They are energy. They carry frequency. When you begin to think thoughts of success, growth, abundance, confidence, and possibility, you start attracting the people, the circumstances, and the resources that match those thoughts. It's not magic, it's alignment. You are aligning your inner world with the outer results you desire. Have you ever noticed how people who expect good things tend to receive them? It's not that life favors them, it's that they are tuned into the frequency of opportunity. They see what others miss. They take action where others hesitate. Their thoughts are not sabotaging their success. They're supporting it. But here's the challenge: most people don't think deliberately. They let their minds wander on autopilot, driven by fear, by doubt, by the opinions of others. They rehearse conversations that never happened. They replay mistakes like a broken film reel. They think small because they've been told small is safe. But there is nothing safe about living below your potential. There is nothing secure about shrinking who you are. You must learn to become the master of your thoughts. Not their servant, not their victim, the master. You decide what stays. You decide what gets planted. You decide what gets watered. No more entertaining thoughts that sabotage your future. No more rehearsing what could go wrong. Train your mind like an athlete trains for a race. Be intentional. Be disciplined. You're not just managing thoughts, you're managing outcomes. This is not about empty positivity. It's about powerful responsibility. You are responsible for what you let grow inside your mind. You're building a life with every thought, whether you realize it or not. So choose the bricks wisely. Choose thoughts that strengthen, empower, enlarge, and elevate your spirit. You might say, well, I can't control every thought that pops into my mind. And that's true. But you can control which ones you dwell on. Thoughts are like birds. They may fly overhead, but you don't have to let them build a nest. The moment a negative thought shows up, you don't entertain it like a guest. You challenge it. You replace it. You say, no, that's not who I am. That's not where I'm going. That doesn't align with my vision. This is where the transformation begins. When you take your thinking seriously, your life begins to reflect it. Think bigger and your world expands. Think with faith, and fear starts to loosen its grip. Think with purpose, and suddenly every step feels intentional. But even powerful thinking must be partnered with another force of clarity. You can't manifest what you don't understand. You can't achieve what you haven't defined. Clarity is the laser beam that focuses the energy of your thoughts. It's what separates wishful thinking from purposeful living. Most people are vague about what they want. They say, I want success, but they can't define it. They say, I want happiness, but haven't asked themselves what happiness actually looks like in their own life. Without clarity, even powerful thoughts get diluted. Without clarity, you might be working hard but going in circles. You might be climbing a ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. Clarity cuts through the fog. It gives your mind a target. When you know what you want, you stop being distracted by what you don't need. You stop chasing every shiny opportunity, every opinion, every fleeting emotion. You know your lane, and you stay in it. The truth is, life will test your focus. Challenges will come. Distractions will appear dressed as opportunities. People will pull you in 100 different directions. But clarity anchors you. It keeps you rooted in your purpose when the winds start to blow. It's the reason behind your effort. It's the compass you consult when you feel lost. And it's the fuel that powers your persistence when things get hard. Persistence without clarity leads to burnout. But when you have a clear vision, a defined outcome, a purpose that moves your spirit, you can push through anything. You can endure the delays, the failures, the detours, because you know exactly where you're going. You're not guessing. You're guided. You're not hoping. You're certain. And clarity isn't something you find by accident. You create it. You sit down with your thoughts and ask the tough questions. What do I really want? Who do I want to become? What does success mean to me? Not just what the world says it should mean. You write it down. You speak it aloud. You revisit it daily until it becomes etched into your identity. Don't let your life be a reaction. Let it be a creation. You're not here to drift. You're here to direct. And direction starts with clarity. You were never meant to live in confusion, chasing things that don't fulfill you. You were meant to live with vision, with precision, with a mission in your soul that makes mediocrity unbearable. Clarity makes you dangerous, in the best way. It makes you immune to distractions. It makes you resistant to doubt. It makes your energy focused, your efforts aligned, your journey meaningful. And the more clarity you have, the easier it is to recognize the thoughts that don't serve your purpose. You can spot them and say, that's not for me. That's not part of where I'm going. When clarity and thought come together, when your mind is filled with empowering beliefs and your vision is sharp, you become unstoppable. Your energy changes. Your words carry weight. Your actions gain momentum. You don't just survive. You move with intent. You don't just respond to life. You create life on your terms. There will be moments when clarity fades, when doubt creeps in, when fear clouds your thinking. That's normal. But you don't give up. You go back to the blueprint. You remind yourself what you're building. You revisit your vision, reinforce your beliefs, and redirect your focus. You make clarity a daily practice, not a one-time event. So many people live life at the mercy of their circumstances, never realizing they are shaping those very circumstances with their own thoughts. They think they're stuck, but really, they're just unclear. They think they're unlucky, but really they're undisciplined in mind. Break the cycle. Break the fog. Step into clarity. Step into conscious thought, and you'll step into power. You weren't created to live confused, reactive, or powerless. You were created to live with intention, with conviction, with a mind that envisions greatness and a purpose that demands persistence. Your thoughts are the tools, your clarity is the blueprint, and your destiny is waiting to be built. One thought, one decision, one focused step at a time. There is a force inside you more powerful than talent, more explosive than luck, and more decisive than timing. That force is desire. Real, burning, all-consuming desire. Not just a passing wish, not just a mild preference. Desire that grabs your chest and says, "This must happen. I won't be denied." Until you feel that kind of fire, you haven't tapped into your true potential. Because it's not logic that changes lives. It's not information that fuels transformation. It's desire. Desire is the starting point of every achievement. Nothing moves until desire wakes up. No mountain is climbed, no business is born, no dream is realized until someone gets so hungry for change that they refuse to stay where they are. Desire pulls you out of bed before the alarm clock rings. It keeps you working long after others have gone home. It turns ordinary effort into relentless pursuit, and it makes quitting unthinkable. You can have a powerful mind, a great plan, even natural skill, but without desire, you'll never apply what you know. Without desire, potential stays locked up. It doesn't matter how capable you are if you're not motivated to act. And desire is the great activator. It turns the key. It breathes life into ideas. It takes your vision off the page and into the world. And the best part, you don't need anyone's permission to feel it. Some people wait for someone to come along and give them a reason to move. But desire doesn't wait. It initiates. Leads. It says, even if no one believes in me, I'm still going. Even if the road is hard, I'm still showing up. Even if I fall 10 times, I'm getting back up 11. That's the kind of desire that builds empires. That's the kind of desire that rewrites stories and breaks generational cycles. But let's be clear. Desire is not about hype. It's not about wishful thinking. It's not shouting affirmations with no intention to follow through. True desire is felt in your bones. It makes you restless in the presence of mediocrity. It burns like fire in your gut, especially when life tries to tell you to settle. When you've tasted even a glimpse of what's possible, desire won't let you go back to average. It becomes your compass, your internal GPS. When you're driven by desire, you no longer need to be pushed by outside forces. You become self-propelled. And in a world full of people looking for motivation, those who are moved by inner desire stand out. They don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They don't ask for the path to be easy. They just move, because the fire inside them is hotter than the resistance around them. Desire pushes past excuses. It silences the inner voice that says, maybe tomorrow, and replaces it with, let's go now. It's the answer to procrastination, the cure for laziness, and the antidote to fear. Fear whispers, what if you fail? But desire roars back, what if I don't even try? That roar will wake up every cell in your body. It'll shake you out of comfort and into pursuit. It'll remind you that the only thing worse than failure is regret. And here's the thing. You don't have to wait for desire to magically appear. You can create it. You can feed it. You can focus on your goals until they come alive in your imagination. You can talk about your vision until it lights a spark. You can write it down, speak it out, see it so clearly that it becomes impossible to ignore. That's when desire catches fire, not because someone handed it to you, but because you chose to ignite it. When desire is alive in you, there is no such thing as too hard or too late. You stop looking for guarantees and start looking for openings. You stop wishing and you start building. You stop dreaming and start moving, because desire is a fire that can't be contained. But desire alone is not enough. The fire must move your feet. Passion must meet pursuit. Because action is what transforms the invisible into the visible. It's what takes your dream from thought to thing. You can think it, you can speak it, you can see it in your mind. But until you act on it, it remains potential. And potential not used is power wasted. This is the step where many stop. They imagine a great future. They talk a great game. But they never cross over into motion. They're always getting ready. They're always waiting for the right time. But vision without action is just fantasy. Dreams without execution die in the comfort zone. What separates those who succeed from those who settle is simple: they act. They don't always know how it will turn out. They don't always have the perfect plan, but they move. They take the step they can see, and then the next one appears. They build as they go. They adjust along the way. They understand that success is not an event. It's a series of bold actions taken consistently over time. Action creates clarity. You don't figure it all out before you begin. You figure it out by beginning. The path unfolds as you walk it. You learn by doing. You grow by stretching. You discover strength you didn't know you had, not by sitting and thinking, but by standing and doing. And with each step you take, belief deepens, momentum builds, confidence increases. That's the power of movement. It multiplies whatever you start with. Even imperfect action is better than perfect hesitation. You may not get it right the first time. That's okay. Progress is messy. Greatness is built in the trenches, not the theory. You don't need to be flawless. You need to be faithful. You don't need to know it all. You need to start with what you know. The rest will meet you on the journey. Because action attracts opportunity. It sends a signal to the universe that you're serious. It shows life that you're not just wishing, you're working. And when you work with all your heart, life responds. Doors open, people show up, resources appear. But none of it happens until you start moving. That means making the call, sending the email, starting the project, registering for the course, opening the account, putting yourself out there. One small act of courage can change everything. Action speaks louder than intention. You can't hope your way into success. You must work your way there. And the beautiful thing about action is that it breaks the grip of fear. Fear thrives in stillness. But when you move, when you take action, fear loses its power. You realize it was all smoke and mirrors. The mountain wasn't as high as you thought. The wall wasn't as thick as it looked. The voice that said, "You can't," gets drowned out by the sound of your own steps forward. Momentum is built by motion, not motivation. You won't always feel like it. Do it anyway. Your feelings will catch up to your footsteps. You don't need inspiration to act. You need discipline. You need commitment. You need to make the decision once and honor it daily, especially when it's hard. Especially when you don't see results yet. Especially when everything in you says, maybe later. That's when champions are born. In the moments when it would be easier to wait, easier to quit, easier to excuse, you act. And with each action, you build trust in yourself. You show yourself what's possible. You become the kind of person who finishes what they start. People often think action has to be dramatic. It doesn't. Sometimes the most powerful actions are the quiet ones. Waking up early, saying no to distractions, making that extra call, writing for an hour a day, reading instead of scrolling. Small hinges swing big doors. Don't overlook the power of consistent, focused action. That's how empires are built, one brick at a time. And once you start, don't stop. Refuse to let temporary setbacks cancel a permanent calling. Refuse to let slow progress convince you it's not working. Success takes time. Dreams take energy. Vision takes grit. But everything you're fighting for is already on its way. As long as you keep going, you'll be tempted to slow down. You'll be tempted to compare. Don't. Run your race. Stay in your lane. Trust your timing. Action honors the process. Action honors the vision. Action proves that you believe. So act boldly. Act consistently. Act as if it's already yours. Because when desire is the fire and action is the fuel, nothing can stop you from creating the life you were born to live.